Listen to the city. It's a city of many voices.
Don't y'all love New York?
And for a time, a terrible time, those voices spoke as one.
My husband was killed in the World Trade Center in the South Tower.
My son, Peter Mardikian, was killed in the Tower 1.
Now it's time for them to speak again as individuals. But how can you possibly hear them all?
There are huge conflicts in the public in New York about what should be done next with the site.
You start by drawing together more than 4,000 of them. Every single one of them has a stake in how the city rebuilds the World Trade Center and remembers the people who died there.
God shed his grace on thee.
I feel very overwhelmed by the amount of emotion in the room and in the city.
Chris Van Amber is from Minnesota, not New York, but her role here is an important one. She's one of 500 people who've come to help lead this huge town hall forum on what to do with the World Trade Center site. It's called Listening to the City. Chris is here to listen.
I was there to help them talk about it, to help with the dynamic, make sure that everyone is talking about it.
Chris works at the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. It's not her expertise in environmental issues that led her to New York City.
If you could please give me a call.
She's trained to facilitate, to bring people together to hash out complicated issues, and to plan for the future. Just the kind of person the organizers of Listening to the City were looking for. Chris and nearly 900 others applied. Only the 500 most qualified were chosen.
But just stop and think about what this says about us as a national community. In literally 7 days, we had 870 professionals volunteer their time.
On the eve of the huge event, Chris and the other volunteer facilitators go through training. They'll need to know enough about the 6 memorial proposals to guide discussion about them. They'll have counselors standing by in case things get too emotional.
We do know how deeply dependent we are on you folks for what actually is going to happen tomorrow.
I just feel a lot of anxiety, and I'm excited. I also have a lot of emotions for these folks and what happened.
Early the next morning, Chris meets the small group she'll work with.
My name's Natalie Carlson, and I live in Brooklyn.
I was born in New York, went to college in New York.
Chris's job is to create a safe place for them to talk.
The closer you were to it, the worse you were.
And to make sure all their ideas get funneled via computer keypads to an information command center. Results are immediately tabulated, sent back to the groups, and then they talk about that.
You can learn about what happened.
People don't even want to go around there yet.
And I want to check in with you, David.
Chris and the other facilitators paid their own way here, took time off from work.
I believe it really is about wanting to give.
Ruth Ann Prang coordinated all the volunteer facilitators.
As someone who actually is a resident of the region myself, it's enormously touching, deeply touching, sort of profound, tearful.
It's profound for Chris, too.
For myself, it was helpful in my own kind of healing.
And healing is why, when the long meeting is done, Chris goes for the first time to ground zero. Here, the intangible becomes tangible.
It's just such a huge sense of loss.
And the sense of devastation is inescapable.
I just felt empty and very overwhelmed with sadness.
And all the more convinced that if people here are to move forward, they need to be heard. Because sometimes, when so much has been taken from you,
Thank you!
Reclaiming your voice is the first step back. For Dimension, I'm Trish Van Pilsum.
1/3 of the people who went to the Listening to the City event are confident city planners will listen to what they had to say.